Bad Times at the El Royale is the new thriller written and directed by Drew Goddard of The Martian and Cabin in the Woods fame. Now, Nate, once again, just another stellar cast that he has lined up for this one. We both really enjoyed Cabin in the Woods
a lot.
A few years ago. You know, we're big horror fans, the meta humor, all that. So there was a lot of mystery behind this one coming out. Like, I love the marketing campaign where you had pretty much no idea what was going on.
Right, yeah.
You just knew there were some sinister behind the scenes stuff, a lot of mystery around this. So let's just start with the cast. I mean,
Sure.
Great cast. John Hamm, Cynthia Erivo, Jeff Bridges, you know, Chris Hemsworth, just all stars top to bottom. Who stood out to you? And, like, was there any negatives, really?
As for the cast, I have zero complaints with this cast whatsoever. This was top to bottom a fantastic crew of actors that were all at the top of their game for the most part, but who stood out the most for me was Jeff Bridges. His performance in this, I think he's sort of the front of the line when it comes to the characters. A lot of characters, they have a lot of story arcs, but I think his arc is what you follow for the most part in this film. And not only was his performance great, he had some truly emotional and real moments in this movie, and it was some of the best acting I've seen from him in a long time. What about you?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's, you know, just impressive how he still continues to surprise us with these, you know, just great, genuine performances. I think he is the anchor and the heart of this movie, and really, he's the only one, I would say, in this movie who has, like, a clear goal.
Yeah.
With being at the hotel. All the other characters just kind of happen to be there, and you know, these stories intersect to some point. I was also impressed by Cynthia Erivo, who plays the singer caught up in this movie, and she and Jeff Bridges, they really, you know, share a lot of chemistry, and I think those are the two characters with, like, true arcs in this movie. But let's go into, like, the mystery behind it. You know, like said, with the marketing campaign, there's a lot of mystery behind it.
There is.
There's mysterious stuff going on in this movie where we kind of jump back and forth in the timeline to get clues.
Yeah.
So how did it pan out for you as far as, like, the mystery and the payoff at the end?
Yeah, I mean, we won't go into any spoilers, of course.
Right.
But this movie was very Tarantino-esque in its structure. You have the central plot, and then you sort of go back in time of people's stories, how they got there, how they intertwine with other characters, things like that. There was a ton of mystery in this. I agree with you with the marketing campaign. It was fantastic. It left, you know, so many questions and so many things you wanted to discover by seeing the movie. For me, it was a little underwhelming with the mystery. I wanted these characters' stories to intertwine a little bit more. I think that a lot of it is by chance. A lot of it is just they're there at the same time, so things start to happen. When I wanted a connection to be throughout.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I did want there to be a little bit more cohesion with the story, but I did like the structure of how they were able to go things from back and forth, and there are these editing moments too where, like, they match the shot to have that smooth transition back into the timeline and make sure you know which character is which, because there are some moments where they're going back to their childhood, and, you know, trying to discover, like, who that is. So I thought it was really well done, but I do think it gets a little jumbled around going back and forth like that, and especially when, like you said, not everything comes together at the end where all these storylines are tied together.
Right.
It's just that two storylines are tied together of how they get there, and then, like, just everything else is just kind of happening. Once again, I think that's my big gripe about the movie, is that it just doesn't tie together at the end like I was kind of hoping it would.
Right, and unfortunately, it runs pretty long, and I think a little too long. And for you to invest this much time into these scenes, to invest this much time into learning about these characters, and to really not have the big payoff that you want or the closure for these characters is a little bit of a letdown. I mean, it's not, like, totally there. I'm not disappointed by any, like, I'm not totally disappointed.
Underwhelmed.
Just underwhelmed by it, exactly. The woman, the singer character in this, although I think she does a fantastic job, she's got a beautiful voice, at times I was just spent too much time watching her sing. I was like, all right, we get it. You sing. There's probably 4 or 5 scenes where you let her sing about 3 verses of a song.
Right.
And I'm like, we get it. We can move on to something else here.
Yeah,
and I felt like there was a lot of those moments where I'm like, this could have been described to me a little bit more quickly or efficiently.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those singing moments, first of all, the soundtrack to this movie is awesome, top to bottom. So
good,
the songs that she does sing, like, you know, I do enjoy it. But I think you're right. Even though the moments where she sings kind of plays into the plot and gets the story moving, I felt like it just dragged out a little too long. And I think that kind of plays into the pacing of the movie, where we go back and forth through these timelines and these different characters, where I think some instances we got more information than we needed, and it was drawn out a little too long. So that just kind of makes the movie feel a little drawn out. I mean, this is like 2 hours and 20 minutes, so it is a longer movie.
Yeah.
But I just think that, there are some places where I just think could have been tightened up and, just maybe some more fine-tuning to the script.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't want that to take away from how beautifully shot this film is.
Oh, absolutely.
The direction here is at the top of his game, to the point where with the right material, with the right script, this man could be one of the greater directors of our time, I think. Like, this really shows. Cabin in the Woods was great, but I didn't think, like, from a director's standpoint, it didn't stand out to me in that sense. It stood out to me because how meta it was. With this is a beautiful film that is shot very clearly for the audience to understand the connections between things, and I have to commend the director for what he did here.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. I love it when you can take a old era like this, I think it's late 60s, early 70s, shoot it digitally and still make it look like of it's that time. Like, there are some movies where they shoot it on digital and it's supposed to be like, kind of retro, and it doesn't look right. I'm thinking specifically of like The Box with Cameron Diaz. Like, that's supposed to be like 70s, 80s, and it looks like it was shot yesterday. So I'm glad that they were able to pull that off. And as far as the technical aspects of this movie, I mean, top to notch, great. The cinematography, the music, not only the soundtrack, but the score provided as well. But I just think that the storytelling elements and the pacing of the movie left a little bit something to be desired.
I agree. Buffs. So we gave our thoughts on Bad Times at the El Royale. We've been looking forward to this one, so give us your recommendation, Dennis.
Yeah, even though I have, some of my qualms with, some minor details and the storytelling elements, there's definitely a lot more good than bad in this movie. So I will give Bad Times at the El Royale a see it.
Yeah, the mystery was engaging for me. I was there every step of the way. It just it was a little underwhelming when it came to the payoff, but all in all, this is a very enjoyable film. If you like good-looking films with a compelling mystery, I really think you're going to enjoy this one. So I will, as well, give it a see it.
All right, so that's it for our review of Bad Times at the El Royale. What did you guys think of the movie? Did the mystery pay off for you? Go ahead and leave a comment down below.
Yeah, and if you think we were excited about the movie for this week, next week is Halloween.
I can't wait.
I am incredibly pumped for this movie. So we're going to bring you that review next week. But wherever you are, whoever you're with,
watch more movies.